What's going on, everybody? You are watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and today's show is presented by PrizePicks. But my, oh my, coming up on today's show, we're diving into the Dianna Russini car video when she was pulled over. She was trying to get out of a ticket, and you won't believe who she was texting. It was Kevin O'Connell. So we'll discuss this and what it could potentially mean for the Vikings organization. Where could Russini be getting her scoops? What does it mean for J.J. McCarthy? And then also the Week 1 QB1 odds for Minnesota have changed in favor of J.J. McCarthy. So I want to talk about that as well. So good news for J.J. here. Could be bad news for J.J. here. So we'll talk about it on today's show. But if you guys could, hit that thumbs up icon. Our bosses here at Chat Sports challenge us to get 500 likes on today's show. So if you guys haven't already, go down there, smash the thumbs up icon. We'd greatly appreciate it and help me avoid an awkward meeting with my bosses. So go down there and like today's video. So unfortunately, I could not play the video for you guys of Dianna Russini getting pulled over. But to set the scene a little bit. So Dianna Russini was pulled over for being on her phone, and this was in New Jersey on January 19th, 2026. So after this current season for the Minnesota Vikings. And she was on her phone because she was actually breaking the Sean McDermott news when he was let go of being the Buffalo Bills head coach. And the officer came over to her, and she was saying, like, hey, I was breaking the news, yada, yada, yada. And then she asked, like, hey, are you a fan of the Jets or the Giants since this took place in New Jersey? And he says, I'm not a fan of either. Then Russini replies to the officer saying, what is your team? And the best part of this whole exchange is the officer saying, I'm a Vikings fan. Unfortunately, I think all Vikings fans can relate to that. But then Russini proceeded to show the officer her phone and a text exchange with Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell, but she didn't FaceTime O'Connell. She simply showed the officer her phone, and then she added at the tail end of this saying their quarterback sucks. This only happens to the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, it's not like the Vikings are like the Browns or the Jets or like one of these complete dumpster fires in the National Football League, but like a story like this, so niche, so unique, would only happen to the Minnesota Vikings. It's hilarious. And I think we can all assume when Dianna Russini, before the start of last football season, she was getting all of these scoops around the Vikings. Everybody was asking, how is she getting all this information? I think it's pretty clear here that Dianna Russini was getting her scoops from Kevin O'Connell, which is absolutely insane. Like, the fact that KOC is even texting an insider is a little concerning. And also, if you go back when Russini was at Vikings training camp last offseason, when all these reports were coming out, and KOC and Russini had that awkward exchange when KOC, famously said, "Oh, thanks for coming out." I think KOC was probably a little frustrated that Russini was letting all of this intel out of the building. Now, somebody tried to zoom in. This is legit Dianna Russini's phone showing her text exchange with Kevin O'Connell. So obviously Russini's in blue, KOC in the other side with the white text there. KOC not saying a whole bunch. I would pay $1,000 to see these texts. Like, flatly, even if it's a nothing burger, I would have loved to see this. But my kind of question to Kevin O'Connell, and obviously I don't know the ins and outs of the NFL, like as much as like Russini or KOC obviously does, but like, why are you texting an insider? Who the hell cares? Like what advantage does Kevin O'Connell have to giving information to Dianna Russini? Now, this could simply be like, maybe Russini was heading to Minnesota and saying like, oh, do you got any places to go for lunch? Like, it could be a nothing burger, but still, KO, why are you even like texting an insider about anything whatsoever? So I didn't love that from Kevin O'Connell, but overall, like, only the Minnesota Vikings this can happen to. But coming up, I do want to give you guys more thoughts on this. What this could potentially mean last season with the Vikings wanting Aaron Rodgers, at least those reports coming out. So we'll discuss that. But you guys first off chime in. Do you trust Kevin O'Connell? Why for yes and for no? Now stay tuned here in a second. Got more on this situation playing out. But I do want to give a massive shout out to our good old friends at PrizePicks. And if you guys use that promo code HMA, we'll hook you guys up with $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. The app is really easy to use. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. PrizePicks is available in most states, including California, Texas, Florida, New York, and, of course, Minnesota. And if you guys are watching the World Cup, you guys can create a lineup for those matches throughout the week. This is where we're riding with Harry Kane, going to take the more on his goal, and then Christian Pulisic for tomorrow's game. USA taking on Bosnia. We're going to take the more on a goal and an assist for Christian Pulisic there. So fade those picks. We'll ride with those picks. Just do so at PrizePicks. Now, you guys can also follow me on the app. The handle is at Pat Sieps, PATSIEPS, to see all my lineups there. But click that link down below in the comment section and description of today's show and sign up for PrizePicks with code HMA. And we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Now, I think this is not me, saying anything that you guys probably aren't thinking right now. It is pretty obvious that Kevin O'Connell wanted Aaron Rodgers this past season. I mean, the fact that he was seen texting Dianna Russini, and Dianna Russini was the person that was coming out with all of these reports that the Vikings had a lot of interest in Aaron Rodgers. It makes a lot of sense that she was getting that intel and that information from the direct mouth of Kevin O'Connell. So I fully believe that KOC did not want J.J. McCarthy to be starting quarterback week 1 last season. He probably wanted to go Aaron Rodgers, give J.J. another year to learn, and then give him the keys to the franchise. Obviously, that didn't end up playing out, and I also think that could tie in to the Vikings letting go of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. I think Brian Flores wasn't happy with what Kwesi did last year in free agency, and I also think KO probably wasn't a fan of Kwesi, most likely probably not even entertaining Aaron Rodgers. But I think it's obvious now after the Dianna Russini pull-over video that Kevin O'Connell wanted Aaron Rodgers to be QB1 last season. Now, about the part where Dianna Russini says their quarterback sucks. Drives me absolutely effing crazy. I just hope for J.J. McCarthy's sake that he just proves everybody wrong. I mean, this is a kid where he came in the league, a lot of pressure around him. People already started doubting him because calling up a handoff merchant at Michigan. All the slander and hate that he gets. And I just really hope with now an offseason where JJ is supposed to be back in the lab, just really refining his mechanics, getting better, improving. And now a video comes out about an NFL insider texting the head coach, and then immediately after, she says, "Oh, their quarterback sucks," talking about J.J. McCarthy. I just hope he shuts all this up and eventually becomes a legit starting quarterback in the National Football League. Just unfortunately for J.J., and I just don't think it's going to be in Minnesota. I think the Vikings completely botched this, and I think it's so funny looking back on the famous quote KOC had of saying organizations fail quarterbacks more than quarterbacks fail organizations. Now, am I saying JJ does not deserve any blame for what happened last season? No, he clearly had a lot to do, working on his maturity. He obviously didn't play the quarterback position at a starting quarterback level and the injuries and all that. I just don't think the Vikings organization, you draft a guy who came from a run-heavy offense, but then the offense you're running the NFL is this air raid pass attack. It just wasn't a good marriage between KOC and McCarthy. And getting back to Kevin O'Connell, it is a massive year for him. Flatly. This is a massive year for Kevin O'Connell. I still think if the Vikings have the same year they had last year, offense can't get going, defense is still great, I don't think they'll end up firing him. But if they replicate last year with a brand new starting quarterback, potentially in Kyler, and the offense is still poor and one of the worst in the NFL, I will be completely out on Kevin O'Connell. Just flatly. I know myself. I know if we watch this entire season, and it's the same thing last year, back-to-back years of this guy having one of the worst offenses in the league, and Sam Darnold has another successful season. Daniel Jones going out there maybe has another successful season. I'll just be out on Kevin O'Connell. So it's a massive, massive year for him. All the pressure, all this nonsense, all the noise around the quarterback position, it gets back to the guy that was deemed the quarterback whisperer. So I think a lot of people, bird's eye view, you're looking at the Minnesota Vikings. All right, they went 9-8 last year. Bad quarterback play. Probably means Kevin O'Connell had a really good year. I don't think that was the case with the Vikings last year. I thought KOC had a horrible year this past season. I think Brian Flores deserves most of the credit, if not all of the credit, for this team going 9-8. So pressure shifts to Kevin O'Connell. Now let's talk about the latest odds for the starting quarterback. So you guys see the odds right here. This is the day we are filming, June 30th. Kyler Murray, heavy favorite. Minus 770, J.J. McCarthy plus 520, and Wentz is the heavy dog at plus 7,000. So you see those odds, but it's changed. June 13th, Kyler Murray was minus 1,000. J.J. McCarthy was plus 600. Is it that big of a deal where his odds are jumping from minus 1,000 to minus 770? Probably not, but it's definitely not nothing. Like, and I think that's what I'm trying to make the case here is that, like, I think even myself, I viewed this as like McCarthy's got no chance. And I still, at the end of the day, kind of believe that McCarthy doesn't have a real chance to be QB1. But Vegas, they don't care about feelings. They just care about making money. So definitely interesting that these odds have shifted. And like I said, this is closer than nothing than something, but it's definitely not nothing at all. Like, odds don't change for no reason. Now, maybe this could just be Vegas getting a lot of money on J.J. McCarthy for whatever reason. So they want to adjust the odds a little bit to help them out in their favor. But at the end of the day, I just still don't believe McCarthy has a chance to be QB1, especially after that video coming out. I'll just be shocked if KOC is going to roll out with him for one more season. I don't think KOC liked him. I think he liked him coming out of Michigan, and he liked everything he was about, but then he got him in the building. I think KOC changed his opinion on him, and it's just where we are right now. But, of course, the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, what am I filming today? A video of Diana Russini getting pulled over. She's texting the damn head coach. She says, our quarterback sucks. Like, just before I die. I just, please, just let me see this team win a Super Bowl once before I die. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but hey, anything can happen. We'll wait and see. But you guys let me know. Who start week 1? Are you riding with Kyler Murray? Are you riding with J.J. McCarthy? Give me a 1 for Kyler or a 9 for J.J. McCarthy. Got to go with Kyler Murray here. I still think he'll end up being QB1, but a lot can change. Who knows? Big-time training camp coming up for your Minnesota Vikings. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes.